What's up, Internet? Don here from DonDoes30.com, bringing you another hacking tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to anonymize, I guess that's a word, your terminal sessions. Now, you can use the Tor network for normal proxies when you're browsing the Internet. The Tor browser is available to you. You do have to download it for Kali Linux. I'm not going to get into Tor because actually, if you kind of read the news and look up some articles, allegedly and supposedly Tor has been broken. If you remember a couple months ago, the Silk Road was brought down by U.S. agents. I don't know if it was DEA, FBI, who the hell knows. But it does show that there are vulnerabilities in Tor, which can track people down. Now, no network is going to be 100% secure, but when you're working with terminals and you're doing commands like nmap or trying to scan a system or WP scan, you probably don't want to be caught, especially if you're looking at DOSing a box. You don't want to have your IP address in there. Now, there's two ways to do it. There's one way I'll show you, just basically exporting a proxy within the terminal itself. So let me first start with that because we're going to expand on that principle. Now, if you don't know what a proxy is, or if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you probably want to start there and find out what the hell a proxy is. Basically, it just means you're using another system to make it look like the traffic is coming from that system instead of your own. So what I'm going to do, let me just show you real quick. If you go to the curl command, there's a pretty cool website, icanhasip.com, that'll show you your IP address. And I'm going to actually, just to prove a point, I want to show you on both of these that these are currently the same. This is currently the IP address that I'm using on my system. Now, to go ahead and change that, so when you're using terminal commands, if you type in export http_proxy equals, now I'm going to use a different proxy here that I have. Now you could look up online and find your own proxies, and there's tons of free ones available. There's tons of ones that you have to pay for too. But what I just did is I typed in export HTTP proxy. This is an HTTP protocol proxy. The IP address of the proxy and the port that that proxy is running on. Now if we hit enter, that automatically updates the proxy file. So let's go ahead and see if it worked. icanhasip.com. Of course, it may take a second because it is going through a proxy server now instead of your own commands. And fingers crossed this will come up with this proxy in just a minute. Now, if it doesn't, that means it could mean the proxy server is down or that this particular website is denying traffic from that proxy. So say this is a proxy through China or through Russia or something where there's known hackers. Websites may block an entire country. So exactly my point. So here we go. This is an issue. Let me try one more proxy that I have on deck here and see if this one works. We'll go again to export HTTP proxy, and we'll do another one I've got here, 2758202. Now, chances are these proxies will already be down by the time this video posts. That's just the nature of proxies. Sometimes they stay up for a while, sometimes they don't. Now, hopefully this proxy will work. If not, we'll move on. But one of the key points I want to show you in just a second is the fact that this is very terminal specific. So if I set the export proxy on this, it's going to be different than this. So what I mean by that is I'm hoping this will give me something. Otherwise, we're just going to move on. Because there is another program that I want to show you that instead of going through one proxy like this, you could go through multiple proxies. Let me just curl this one and see. Yeah, so curl is still working. It's just probably denying another IP proxy here. We'll leave that go for a second, but I'm going to switch over to our next method, and that's called ProxyChains. Now what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've actually gotten rid of and uninstalled the ProxyChains that comes with Kali Linux. There's some glitches in it. There's some extra configurations that you have to go through, which could sometimes be a pain in the ass. So I downloaded ProxyChains 4, or it's also called ProxyChains NG if you're trying to download it. And I'll show you what it does. But first what we have to do... Oh, there we go. So check it out. So before I get into ProxyChains, let me jump back here. So curl actually went ahead and I'm running through this proxy now for all of my terminal commands. Again, as you could see, it's very terminal specific. So this one has this IP address that it's going off of. This one's going off of my original IP address. So make sure if you are going to use this method that you set it for each terminal that you're going to be using. That way you could hide your original IP address. Anyway, sorry about that. Back to ProxyChains. So first what we have to do is we have to set the configuration file up. So it's in the etc. Let me start from the beginning. You got to go cd backspace etc, and then we'll set up the ProxyChains configuration file. Now there's a lot of commenting in here, and what I'll do is just kind of hit the highlights. If you're doing a dynamic chain, it means it's going to try each one. Now if there is one that is timing out or denied, it just basically moves on to the next one and tries that. A strict chain means that it's going to continue until it finds timeout or it's successful. So whereas the dynamic will jump from different proxies that you have set up, a strict chain is going to use the exact chain in order that you put it in. Now this is what it defaults to, so I'm going to leave it at that. Usually I do use dynamic chain, but just for the purpose of this tutorial I want to be sure we go through the strict chain just so you have an idea. Round robin, it means each time it's going to go ahead and mix up the proxy order. Random chain, it's going to select a certain number of random IP proxies that you have set up. Chain length. Alright, so let's go ahead, you could read this, it's very well commented in here, but I'm going to go down all the way to the bottom, and I'll show you why, because this is where we're going to set up our proxies. Now, the proxies default to the Tor network. Again, I don't want to use the Tor network because personally I don't trust it. I want to set up basically my own quote-unquote Tor network by jumping through different proxies. So what I've done is I've commented out with the # or hashtag, whatever the hell you kids are using these days, the Tor proxy, and I added 2 of my own. Okay. Now again, you could find different proxies online. You could find a list of proxies. I'm not going to get into where to find them. That's going to be up to you. Google's going to be your friend in that case. What I've done for this particular chain is I've set up 2 different proxies. I've set up a SOX4 proxy and an HTTP proxy. Now it really doesn't matter which ones you set up or how many you set up. If you look up here, it'll support SOX5, HTTP, and SOX4. This is the format. Now it's very important that you tab between fields. Okay? Don't go ahead and start using spaces. Go ahead and tab between the fields just so you don't get any errors when it's reading the configuration file. So again, you'll type in the proxy type, the IP address, the port, and then if you do have login information for that proxy, go ahead and type in the login information. As you can see with the 2 proxies that I'm using, there's no login information at the end. These are just straight proxies. You could add as many as you wish. I'm just doing this. I'm just doing 2 as part of this example, but you could add 3, 4, 5 to further protect yourself. Basically, it means that it's going to first jump from your computer to this proxy, then to this proxy, then to several other proxies. I do recommend if you are doing things that you really don't want tracked, to use proxies that are in countries that we really don't have trade agreements with. So China, I don't think will give up a lot of your information if you use them. So we've got these 2 set up, and let me show you how it works. We're going to do ProxyChains 4. Now this command you're going to need to put in front of any type of other terminal command that you use. Unlike our first example, where once you have the export set up, you could use commands directly. For ProxyChains, you have to use ProxyChains before your command. So ProxyChains curl icon has ip.com. We'll go through this process again. And it's going through the strict change. So first it's going to start and try to connect to this, which of course, anytime I'm trying to do something, it timed out. So as you can see, it timed out, which means it completely failed. Let me try that again because I know that, there we go. So this time it went through. Then it moved on to the second IP. It moved on to the website. We got a return OK, and there we have it. So instead of going from my computer directly to this proxy to this website, I went from my computer to this proxy, then to the website. Again, you can use Tor. I personally am a little bit against Tor at the moment until further details come out. But you could have as many proxies as you want. So this is just 2. You could have 3, 4, 5, 6 before it connects to this web server and spits out information. So again, ProxyChains, if you want to use Nmap, or ProxyChains if you want to do WP scan. Okay. So again, make sure for ProxyChains you're using it prior to your terminal command. If you are choosing to use our little export here, you don't have to. Everything's going to be running according to the original, or to our updated proxy. Anyway, I hope that helps. Stay anonymous out there. Don't get caught. And if you have any questions, shoot me some comments. Thanks again.